In the year 2045, the world had become a decaying nightmare. What was once a thriving civilization was now a barren, twisted wasteland of ruin. Tokyo, once the heart of the future, lay in shambles, its towering skyscrapers reduced to jagged teeth poking through a dense mist that clung to the earth like a shroud. The sky was always dark, smeared with blood-red clouds that never cleared, and the air was thick with the stench of rot and sulfur. Kazuo walked through the desolate streets, his movements stiff, the remnants of his humanity slipping away with each step. His body was half decayed, his skin cracked like old stone, his muscles pulled taut over exposed bone. The virus that had turned most of the population into mindless, flesh-eating zombies had only half consumed him. The other half still burned with the pain of being alive. His heart, or whatever was left of it, beat weakly in his chest, a hollow rhythm. But Kazuo wasn't mindless. Not yet. The infection coursed through him, but he fought it, clinging to what little was left of his humanity. His body was an abomination, skin gray and torn, veins black with corruption. His left arm had long since rotted away, replaced by a grotesque, makeshift blade he had fused to his stump in an act of desperation. A devilish glint remained in his crimson eyes, burning with defiance. He wouldn't fall, not until he made it to the Crimson Eclipse, the rumored gateway where the infection had first begun. The world wasn't just ravaged by the undead. The true horror was much worse. As the virus spread, it twisted not only the human body but also the soul. People had begun transforming into something far more sinister, devil zombies. Half zombified, half demonic, they retained intelligence, but their minds were consumed by madness. Horns jutted from their skulls, and their blackened wings tore through the sky, spreading chaos. Kazuo stopped in front of a cracked, old shop window, looking at his reflection. A hollow face stared back at him, half human, half monster. His left eye had rotted away, replaced by an empty socket. The skin around his jaw had eroded, revealing jagged, broken teeth. He gritted them, flexing his blade arm, feeling the dull ache of infection gnawing at his sanity. The distant sound of growling echoed through the empty streets. Kazuo turned, his breath catching in his throat. Through the mist, dark figures emerged, 3 of them, their glowing eyes piercing the fog. They were devil zombies, the remnants of once powerful men and women, now twisted by the infection into demonic forms. Their wings fluttered in the darkness, casting eerie shadows against the ruined walls. Their bodies were covered in thick, black scales, and their fingers ended in sharp claws. The lead one, a hulking creature with horns that curved back like a ram's, grinned at him. So, it rasped, its voice like sandpaper on glass, the half-zombie thinks he can still fight. Kazuo narrowed his eye, tightening his grip on his blade. "I'm not done yet," he muttered through cracked lips. His voice was a ghostly whisper, barely human. The creature laughed, a deep, rumbling sound that echoed through the ruined streets. "You're a walking corpse, Kazuo. The infection's eating you alive. Just give in. Let it take you. You'll be one of us soon enough." Kazuo didn't respond. He couldn't afford to. Instead, he lunged, moving with a speed that belied his decayed body. His blade arm slashed through the air, aiming for the demon's throat. The devil zombie parried with its claws, the metallic screeching sound sending shivers down Kazuo's spine. The other 2 creatures circled around him, their eyes glowing with sadistic hunger. One of them pounced, its wings spreading wide as it came at Kazuo with razor-sharp talons. Kazuo ducked, spinning on his heel, his blade slicing through the creature's stomach. Black ichor sprayed from the wound, and the thing let out a screech, stumbling backward as its entrails spilled onto the cracked pavement. The second creature attacked next, faster, smarter. It slashed at Kazuo's back with its claws, raking across his decayed flesh. Kazuo grunted in pain, staggering forward. The infection burned at the wound, threatening to overwhelm him. His vision blurred for a moment, and the whispers started in his mind, dark, seductive. "Give in," they hissed. Become one of us. But Kazuo fought back, clenching his teeth. He would not let the infection win. Not now. Not after everything. He swung his blade arm in a wide arc, catching the second creature across the chest. Its body split open, and it collapsed in a heap of blackened flesh. The leader roared in fury, its eyes glowing with hellish fire. It charged at Kazuo, horns lowered, claws outstretched. Kazuo barely managed to block the attack, his blade grinding against the creature's claws. Sparks flew as they clashed, the force of the impact sending a shockwave through the street. The creature was strong, too strong. Kazuo could feel his decayed muscles straining, his strength ebbing away. His body was failing him. The infection was too far gone. The devil zombie grinned, leaning in close, its breath hot and foul against Kazuo's face. "You're weak," it hissed. "You can't fight forever. The infection will take you. It's already in your bones." Kazuo snarled, pushing back with the last of his strength. He drove his blade arm forward, plunging it into the creature's chest. The devil zombie's eyes widened in shock, and black blood poured from the wound. It staggered back, clutching at the blade embedded in its flesh. "You might be right," Kazuo whispered, his voice a ragged rasp. "But I'll take you down with me." With a final surge of strength, Kazuo twisted the blade, tearing through the creature's heart. It let out a choked scream, its body convulsing as it crumbled to the ground, lifeless. Panting, Kazuo staggered back, his vision swimming. His body was failing, flesh sloughing off in chunks, bones cracking under the strain. The infection was winning. He could feel it in his mind, the dark whispers growing louder, more insistent. But he wouldn't stop. Not until he reached the Crimson Eclipse. Not until he found the truth behind the infection. Kazuo looked up at the blood-red sky, the swirling clouds casting an eerie glow over the desolate world. His time was running out, but he still had a mission. Still had a purpose. Even as his body rotted away, even as the infection ate at his mind, he would fight. Because in a world like this, there was nothing else left but to fight. And in the end, maybe that was enough.